Okay, so good afternoon, class. So this is your or lecture for this week for Building Tech 2 with Masonry Construction. So this week I'm going to discuss about the different parts of your construction documents which will be submitted to the building official for final approval. Okay, so the first part, this is going to have your cover page, followed by your architectural documents. Then you have your structural documents. Then you have your electrical documents, ECE, mechanical, plumbing, structural, what's the other one? Then your sanitary. Okay. So, so the first thing is that when you when you what you call this when you draw construction documents for final approval building official, which will be on blueprints, is that you have to have a table of contents. In this table of contents, you're going to list all the drawings which this project will contain, from architectural up to plumbing and up to sanitary. In the first page, you have your perspectives, and then a location map. Okay. Then you're going to write your name here as the architect, your BRC number. So you're going to write your dry city here. And this is where the owner will sign it. Second page is where you can find your perspectives, which you're going to sign again as the architect. Then another interesting development is that you have a separate page for your geodetic design. So in your geodetic page class, this is where you can find the site development plan and the lot plan, which has the lot descriptions and the technical descriptions for the project. The TCPs usually can be found in your titles. Okay, so this is going to be signed by your geodetic engineer, which will be involved in the project. Okay, in your floor plan class, as you can see, you have your vertical column layout and your horizontal column layout. Okay, usually the practice is to use alphabetical letters for your y-axis and use numerical values for your x-axis. So this is important during construction to locate and reference points. Okay, and as you can see, you have your general measurements inside, then you have a total measurement outside. Okay, also you write what kind of door and windows are in your floor plan. For example, this one, this is PD2, which means that this is panel door 2. PD3, it is panel door, but it has a different width. Okay. Then you also have your schedule of doors. So notice that in your schedule of doors, you can see here where the finished floor line is, okay, which is 0.25 meters above the street level for this project. So there's a specification, there's an arch transom, this is a wooden door frame. It's a heavy duty door lock also, this is a wooden panel door. Then you indicate the number of sets, its location, and then the type of door. Okay, that's for panel door 1. So this is how you do your door, schedule of doors. Same as this one. Okay, now let's move into the roof plan. So this is another way of showing your roof plan wherein the floor plan is reference. Okay. Then you also have the flashing detail. Your flashing detail is important so that rain cannot get in your ceiling or inside your structure. Okay, so this is the continuation of your schedule of windows. In your schedule of windows, you write the number of sets, its location, and the type. For this one, this is CW, which means casement window with heavy duty window accessories and mosquito screen concrete window jamb. So it's important to write that there's a mosquito screen so that the contractor will actually add this in the project. Okay, so remember that the construction drawings are legal documents. So once there's this already awarded to a contractor, the project is awarded to a contractor, um, they form an integral part of your contract. Okay. Sorry, class. Mm, Okay, so let's look at this one. Then you have your hidden gutter downspout details. Okay, so you have to really collect details as you progress in this profession. Okay, so this is just an example. Now let's move to the different elevations. So this is the rear elevation glass. This is the front elevation also. Okay, so as you can see, we still place our column callouts. Then we have horizontal dimensions. So this is not the natural grade line. It should be your street level, which should be the basis for ground floor line, ceiling line, roof line, and firewall line. Okay. On the right side of the document is where you can find uh, the boxes where the building official will sign. Okay, so in the box of the building official, there is also a sign for the land use and zoning, line and grade, architectural, civil, electrical, mechanical, sanitary, plumbing, and fire. And this is your section through A and through B. Okay, then class, it's a common practice, especially in lower level architecture students, that when they do their sections, you can't say anything. But in the real practice, you have to write the spaces where their section line will cut. For example, here it cuts through the embalming area, the deluxe area, and then the casket display area. Then you have to write the blow up. You have to draw the cornice blow up details, section details, the cove lighting details. Okay. Then this is an example of your reflected ceiling plan. Okay. In your reflected ceiling plan, you can find the different lighting layouts for your project. So you can either have pin lights or fluorescent lights. Okay. Then you write what type of ceiling materials you use for this uh, project. You use 1/2 inch gypsum board, which the brand is Boral. Okay. Then you have the wooden cornice, which is applied with solignum. Or you can also write the ceiling should be 4 mm spandrel, then verify the architect for color and profile. Okay, so these are the different blow-ups for spaces. So depending on the type of project class, um, you should have blow up details for your rooms. For this project, we have blow up details for the non-aircon chapel, and etc. So you can also provide their own sections wherein you can write your specifications for the project. Now for the structural class, I think I've already shown you an example with the past project that I uploaded. So when you do your structural design, it is important that you always collaborate with your structural engineer or geotechnical engineer or civil engineer for the project. So you never assume that uh, you'll be the one to do the details, because each soil may demand different structural design for it. So always consult your partners for this one, for your structural design, especially if your project will be built near an area which is prone to earthquakes or liquefaction. Now let's go to electrical layout. So this is an example of an electrical layout. So let's just browse through this one because we're going to complete the details for the architectural first. So this is how you're going to draw, okay, the different convenience outlet. Okay. Now for the new feature, I think what's added now in current designs are the communications, electronics and communications layout of your building. For example, this one, you can see where the CCTV cameras will be located. Okay. For this one class, it's also important that you communicate and coordinate well with a professional electronics and communications engineer. So in your electronics and communications layout, this is where you can find your smoke detectors for the project. Okay, so you can see you have your smoke detector, data intercom, telephone, video, CCTV, speaker, audio port. So all these should be integrated already in your project. Why, class? So that it would be less expensive for your client to make adjustments, because once the building is constructed, everything else will be very expensive. So it should be included in the initial planning. Then I'll show you the mechanical design for this one. Okay, so this is what you call the fire protection plan. So this is where your sprinkler system will be designed. So you need to consult also with the professional mechanical engineer with the details. So you can find your fire pump spool, fire pump layout, the schedule of equipment, etc. So this should already be added in your design as well. Okay, so it's 3 pages because the design for the mechanical room is also included. Okay. Then you also have your air conditioning layout. So the air conditioning layout plus you already plan where your condensing units will be located and how you're going to integrate with it with your design. Okay. If you fail to integrate your ventilating units at the beginning class, you're going to have a problem in the aesthetics of your building. You're going to have a lot of problems making new lines and connections. Okay, this is where you can find a different split type air conditioning exhaust unit schedules. So it's a wall mounted or ceiling mounted exhaust ceiling fan. So it's going to be located. It's going to be drawn here. But you have to coordinate with your mechanical engineers or engineer for this one. Okay, so this is just a brief introduction to the different parts of your construction documents which will be submitted to the office of the building official. So it's important that you know this that in the future, when you have your own projects, you already know the details necessary. So it does not mean that um, when you draw your plans, that you only have to submit your perspective, 4 elevations, and 2 sections. For your design to be communicated effectively, you have to add as much details um, as possible. Okay, so thank you, class, and see you next meeting. So I'll post your activity tomorrow for next week or by Wednesday. Okay, so concentrate on the project that I've given you last week. Okay, thank you, class.